All right, we are live on the Happy Hustle podcast with my brother from another mother, Mr. Josh Trent. Josh, welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you for having me. This is so exciting. Like the happy, the hustle, the realness. Let's get to it. Thank you for having
Yeah,
me, brother.
man. Dude, you are a happy hustler. Not only are you the host of the top-rated podcast Wellness Force Radio, but you're also CEO of Civilized Caveman and just a woke soul, man. How do you do it, Josh?
One breath at a time, like just how you do and how we all do, right? This constant evolution of what's real, what's not, what's of service, what can we let go? I mean, it's an everyday process, my bro. So that's really what I think we're all doing,
Yeah.
whether we know it or not.
Yeah, very true. What are you best known for in the world these days?
Really, like I'm just this insatiably thirsty, curious human that I believe was brought here to help dilute the toxicity in the planet. And the way that I feel about that is the only way I'm going to dilute that toxicity is if I bring positive energy and love to the planet. And the only way I'm going to do that is if I'm honest and authentic about how I share my discovery process of physical and emotional intelligence. And dude, intelligence ain't how smart you are, which we can get into. Intelligence has three big phases, but it's honestly my journey in just the past 5 years, these 300 shows plus of what is real intelligence and what are the masters in the world doing to embody that intelligence, and what are the mistakes I make along the way? What are the ways that I'm learning, and how can I just share that from a place of truth?
Yeah, man. Let's get into it. What are those three faces of intelligence that you speak of?
Well, I'll tell you what, like one thing that I've been feeling a lot into is right now in our world, everyone is a bit paralyzed by fear.
Hmm.
And when we're paralyzed by fear, and I promise I'll answer your question, when we are paralyzed by fear, the default mode network activates, our creative faculty turns down, our ability to rationally think turns down. We're not intelligent beings. Then we're just slaves to our biology. We're biologically driven beings. So the number one thing that I believe intelligence really is transcending our biology. It's transcending the fact that we're just a beast in a meat suit on a
Hmm.
rock in the middle of outer space. I don't know if we can curse on your show. I'm
Go
totally being able to
for
keep it clean. Okay.
it.
No one knows what the fuck is really going on. And we're all just making it up as we go along. And the cool thing about that is that we can make it up and we can express and learn. And then also the mystery of it. And sometimes what challenges us is we just all don't always have the answer as to why, like why it is we're doing what we're doing, or what the mystery of the universe actually is. Sometimes just the gift of surrender can be the best medicine.
Hmm.
So I think
Preach.
intelligence, yeah, I think intelligence has three phases, like in our real bandwidth, in the continuum of intelligence, there is gathering. How can I go out in the world and listen to Happy Hustle and listen to Wellness Force and read all my books and, get all my information? How can I absorb as much information as possible? And this is where, Cary, most people get stuck. They get caught in the absorption phase, in the gathering phase, where they're like, cool, if I get the PhD, if I get the thing on the wall and I have 1,000 books and I got like 25 books on Audible and rah, rah, rah. The challenge is that that's just the first phase. That's
Hmm.
where your brain and your nervous system actually gather and your soul starts to understand what's true and what's not. Then the second phase of intelligence is the application phase, right? Like where we try on the sweater, where we go do the cold therapy, where we understand what breath work can do for us, where we go into an intimate relationship, where we get challenged by our women, or on the other side, challenged by our men, or
Hmm.
however you roll, like you get challenged by people.
Hmm.
So that's application. And so in the application phase, that's where we start to iterate when we want to gather and when we want to pause. Then the last phase, which is what we're all doing, man, it's what we're all working on. And that is where everything trickles down and it gets embodied, where it gets
Mm.
locked in. So we gather, then we apply, we iterate, then we go back to gathering. And then we go back and forth enough between those first two levels of intelligence. And we somehow, through the grace of spirit, through our own wherewithal, through our own gusto, like we get to the embodiment phase. And in the embodiment phase, that's where there's no such thing as faking it till you make it. It doesn't matter because people can just feel it from you when you're
Hmm.
around them. Like you ever meet somebody in public and you're like, wow, I really like that dude, or I really like that gal. They're cool. I like them because of fill in the blank. Well, that fill in the blank is because they've embodied some kind of intelligence that your body knows without any words necessary.
Hmm.
So that's the true continuum of intelligence.
Dude, mic drop. I mean, we could just end it now, and I think the people will be woker from just the last 5 minutes, if that's even a word, woker.
Well, like, yeah, and to be real, like to layer on top of that, I'm still a imperfect human going through the
For
process of
sure.
understanding how to do and be and have all three.
Yeah, and I
Every
think
day,
we
every
all
day.
are. We all are. We're all in this world together, evolving every single day. And I love those three elements or faces of intelligence. You call it faces or elements or
That's kind of cool. I think it could
yeah.
be a face or an element, or really what I believe it is it's a continuum.
Yeah.
Just like the hero's journey. So I think
Circle. It's a
it's like
circle.
segments. It's like segments on the wheel. So
Yeah.
I think it's channels, segments, faces,
Yeah.
however you want to describe it.
Well, the gather phase, I do believe, is a phase where people get that paralysis by analysis, right? They just continue to soak up more content, buy more courses, hire more coaches, and get paralyzed and don't actually do anything.
Yeah.
They're stuck in the gathering phase. And it's really when you start to apply what you've learned and take those massive action steps forward, even if it's not forward, it could be to the side and you just don't know it yet, but you'll learn soon enough that, okay, action is progress and progress equals happiness. And that's what
Mm.
it's all about, is continuing to progress every single day in every way.
Yeah, because man, like, allow me to get a little metaphysical here, if I may.
Go get
Okay.
on with it, bro.
So what's happening right now is you and I are on lockdown. We're told that we can't leave our homes. We're told that we can't go to the beach. We're told that we can't fill in the blank. And the reality is we don't actually know the truth right now. We just don't know. And the amount of intelligence that we're all absorbing, I think right now is actually fairly minimal. I think right now there's just an insane amount of gathering where everybody's taking in things. And it's all done, Cary, in the name of progress, to go back to your initial statement. Like everything's being done to fight the CO of the virus, and to fight, for what's right, and for fighting for progress. I think what we're really understanding here is that our system is fundamentally flawed. And yes, we live in, I believe, one of the greatest countries, if not the greatest country in the world, because we have so much understanding of how we can grow and how we can drive business and revenue and economy. And I don't think that's fundamentally wrong or bad. But I think just like any tool or just like any energy or force, there's the point of going beyond the edge. And David Data talks about this, and Thich Nhat Hanh talks about this, and any contemporary or modern day spiritual master or ancient master, they all go to the same thing. And like Lao Tzu says, there is the middle way. And what's going on right now is, in the name of progress, we've lost our middle way. We've completely lost our middle way. This virus that's going around, we don't actually know the real numbers. We don't know the real information. Our intelligence around this is extremely low because we are stuck in the information gathering phase. There is no iteration. There is no embodiment. We just haven't had enough time. And I think really what this is pointing to, Cary, is this system cannot sustain itself, as you know, with your work in sustainable breakthroughs. Like, there is no way we can continue to dishonor our Mother Earth, to treat our bodies and our soil with disdain and with disregard for its own health, to treat our brothers and sisters with a lack of kindness, to allow people to suffer around us in the sake of progress. It's fucking bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Just because there's progress does not mean that it's in the common good for all. And if you look at the laws of nature, nature always has a natural rebirth cycle where there's continuity, and in the body it's the same thing, right? It's homeostasis. So my long kind of expansion here on your initial statement is, we have lost the middle way. We have lost our adherence to the laws of nature. And in the laws of nature, there is no such thing as year over year over year growth. In nature, when some things die, they give life to what births next. But in our capitalistic society, we have pushed the edge, and there are a fraction of amount of honestly really old white men that are running things, And when I say running things, I'm talking about money and resources to the likes that would shock the human mind.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happening right now is those are being used to control, and they're also being tested, because the fact that you and I can do this that hasn't existed before, and the ways in which technology is helping to wake us up, it is opening up more opportunity for happy hustlers, for people that are actually doing their thing, living their dream, taking the leap to do what it is they're meant here on the planet to do. Like the time is now. The time is now, because the systems that were in place for so long for our fathers and our grandfathers, they don't work anymore. We're not in that world, but yet the world is still set up as if it was. And
Yeah.
that's the reality of, I think, where we are.
Yeah. I mean, that was an amazing, you know, I mean, it was like mind blowing if you actually break down what you just said, to distill some of the facts of nature into the broken system, and to really look, taking a step back and looking at where we are and how you elegantly, and it's sad to think, elegantly put this world that we're living in is not sustainable as we know it. If we continue at this rate, we will cause major conflict in the near future for not only ourselves, but for our children and their children. We need to make a change. And that's what this is, a wake-up call. Call it the virus, call it whatever it is, the quarantine at home. I know some people are affected more so than others. And Josh and I are not being insensitive to the fact that there are people who are really being affected. Healthcare warriors who are out there, having to go to battle every day and protect themselves and their loved ones as they care for those who are sick with, the virus. I have friends in the medical field, and I see it, and it's tragic. My cousin is having to strip down on her porch so she doesn't bring in her clothes to her kids. There's people who lost their businesses. There's people who've had to completely reinvent themselves, or will have to, because they're losing their jobs. We are not, Josh and I, not at all taken away from the fact that there is real consequences to what's taking place right now. I think what Josh and I are both saying in some capacity is allow this to be the catalyst to a new future, to make positive strides in a different light,
Yeah, man, I'd love to break down the nature one, because it's interesting. There's mushrooms on my t-shirt. and I believe in the power of plant medicine, not just psychedelics. I'm talking about all plants, whether it's having adaptogens in your system, or spirulina, chlorella. Like tomorrow I'm doing a show with Energy Bits, and they have these powerful concentrated spirulina and chlorella tablets. Like there's so many medicine tools that are in nature, and nature just provides those for us. Nature just gives to us. But what's happening right now, whether you're spiritual or whether you're logical, what I'm about to say is true. We are raping and pillaging the earth in the name of economic progress.
Yeah.
And we cannot be so greedy. We have to look in the mirror. We have to look in the mirror, because if we don't look in the mirror and be honest about what we're actually doing right now, the consequences are immense. And I'm not doing this to scare you. I'm just being real. Look at what's happening right now in the world. We're stuck at home because of a virus. When you and I get sick, our temperature rises, we cough, we have sputum, we get the virus out by heating up, right? What do you think Mother Earth and the world is doing right now? Human beings and the way we're treating her is the virus. She is cooking off what doesn't serve us. We have made her sick. And the metaphor is that this virus we're experiencing is actually the virus that we've given to her. And so we are cooking with her right now. We are letting go of all the things that don't serve us. We're being forced to look at the mirror because we're forced to sit at home. You're forced to be silent. You're forced to actually look at how you're living your life. Do you love what you do for a living? Are you running in an unsustainable way? Are you actually enjoying? Are you having a happy hustle? Like, are you doing something you believe in? Because if not, that shit ain't sustainable. And there's a huge story with me there, because I never followed the laws of nature. I didn't even know what they were, and in the laws of nature, there's always a beginning, middle, and end. And that cycle, just like the hero's journey and just like intelligence, it always repeats. It always repeats. It never stops. Life never stops. Life always keeps going. And the way that I could explain the laws of nature to capitalism is, if you look at a tree, even the giant sequoias, these trees that are like
beautiful trees. Yeah.
Some of the most amazing trees in the world, right? And they too, one day, when it's their time, they keel over and they perish and they die. and then their bark and their twigs and everything that and their leaves, it goes back into the ground, and then a new tree comes from it. And I do believe that we're at that state right now where we get to choose. We get to
Hmm.
choose, like, do we want to die or do we want to live? Because if we want to live, we have to change our way. We
Yeah.
have to change our way. So let's do that from a place of love and enjoying what we're doing. And I think honestly, this is a big wake up call, and I'm very positive about it. I'm very optimistic
Hmm.
that this is happening to push us towards more of a more happiness,
Yeah.
more happiness and more positivity in the world. But just like any big change, Cary, it's like sometimes it has to get real dark before the dawn.
Yeah. So well said. This is the rise of the ecopreneurs as well. And if you have an idea, especially in the environmental space, this is the time to birth that. And the
Yeah.
world is craving these inspiring entrepreneurs to thrive in this particular industry, especially with, climate change and the, I mean, yes, there's artificial intelligence and
Yeah.
there's this boom of technology, but the environment needs just as much innovation as AI and all of these other robotics. And the Silicon Valley technologists are very focused on one element, but truthfully, with entrepreneurship, we could solve these problems for our planet, and we could
Yeah.
actually have people who have happy hustles that are doing more than just good for their bank accounts, but good for the planet. And that's really what the triple bottom line is. It's all about people, planet, and profits.
How do we get to that triple bottom line together? I mean, this is really like the spoke in the wheel that must be seen.
Yeah.
Because if we don't respect this, like, the wheel's going to stop turning.
Yeah. I mean, there's some really good research out there in regards to B corporations and how they grade a sustainable company in order to become a B corporation. And my brother Grant, he can speak on this far better than I can because he has a master's in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, he's got that world down.
He could, I mean, he is going to change the world, and he is an ecopreneur. He is changing the world with sustainable breakthroughs, and I'm just holding on for the ride and helping any way I can. But the reality is, B corporations are a great benchmark into how you can really make a difference and have a business that serves not only the community but the planet on a larger level, because it's not sustainable to just have a nonprofit and really just collect donations. You need to have a for-profit energy in order to really make global massive change in many regards.
Yep.
You can have there's some great nonprofits that are out there, but in order to truly have a sustainable change that's lasting, throughout the decades, a for-profit entity similar to like Patagonia, that's an amazing B corporation.
Yeah.
Ben and Jerry's is a B corporation. There's like North Face. There's B corporations that are really doing good in the world, and they have the environment in the back of their mind, actually probably in the front of their mind, at every step of the way. And that's what we need to start thinking about. Burning off our fossil fuels, that used to work, but now it's not. There's solar energy that's just as effective. There's ways that we can innovate that serve the greater mission and the greater good.
Well,
we're getting on a tangent here, but that's where we're at.
It's a quality tangent, because what is actually creating meaning in the world? We create from a place of being happy, from a place of enjoying it, from a place of having something that we want to serve through or for. It's like, why are we even here if we're not doing something to be of service?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying because we're being of service that we have to live in a grass hut and eat rice every day. And we don't have to sacrifice what we enjoy with an awareness of ostentatiousness. I'm not saying we have to be ostentatious and
that's a $5 word.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to have like
a definition of that.
Ostentatiousness is when you have like a absorbent amount of wealth that you flaunt, and you create no regard to how you spend your money, even in the place of seeing how other people might be suffering. An ostentatious person would go down a street wearing diamond rings, blowing their nose with dollar bills while some child wasn't eating. So there's the contrast of that in our world. And I'm not here to debate that, but I will say that it exists. And what I really believe that we were talking about was there is this part of our human evolution that we're all looking at right now. And the part of our human evolution that we are being forced to look at is, am I doing something that is making the world, my community, my brothers and sisters better? And at the very least, am I doing something that's not hurting them or taking away from them? I mean, I would hope and I would aspire that everyone would be wanting to give. But even if you don't want to give, at least do your diligence and just have some responsibility, my friends, to not put out things and do things in the world that consciously, hurt other people. That's the moral edge that we're all looking at right now.
Yeah. And even a step further, I mean, guys, be conscious consumers. Like, watch what you're buying. Does it come in a plastic wrapper, or not? Are you supporting companies that are not ethically sourcing their products? Or are you look at the tuna cans, does it say tuna safe, like they're actually not killing dolphins in the process? Or are you getting the ones that are just cheaper because you're on a budget? Like, make conscious choices. Your vote is with your dollar every single day. Yes, if you're out there starting a business and you want a happy hustle and really have a passion, purpose, and a positive impact, then you do need to take responsibility for your whole supply chain. You need to know who you're hiring. Is there ethical labor laws involved in hiring a VA overseas? Sure. You need to make sure you're not, making poor choices in business, because businesses have a bigger ripple effect in many regards.
Well, and think about what that word even means, like the actual definition of business. There's busyness and then there's business.
Yeah.
And like one thing that I know about business is like a person's occupation, their profession, like their trade. But look within the word, there's also the other side of it where it's like somebody just being busy, somebody just doing in the name of progress all the time. Like that's a dark side of business. And we're approaching this big threshold right now, dude. And this isn't to be dramatic.
Yeah.
This is just to be honest.
Yeah.
The real question for everyone is, are you being busy just in the name of progress, or do you actually have a heart-centered business?
Yeah.
Like, what's your business? What's your business in the world?
Yeah.
What's your business here, Cary?
What's your business?
What's your business? That's not mind your own business. That phrase exists for a reason. Like, what's your business? Your business doesn't mean how much money you're bringing in.
Yeah.
That's part of it, but
small part, but it is a part. Yeah.
Your real business is like, what are you up to? Like, that phrase when we're at a party and somebody goes, so what do you do? Which I think is the most fucking annoying, weird question, especially when you just meet somebody. That's like me saying, hey, you mind showing your bank account to me?
Yeah. Hey, did you bring your resume? I'd like to read it real quick.
What I think what really people are trying to do is they're trying to get more to the root chakra, because it's a root chakra question. It's like, hey, who are you? What do you do? What are you all about? What do you stand for in the world, so that I can prepare my nervous system to talk to you? That's really what that question is. But it's been bastardized because people go, so what do you do? What do you work for? What's your work?
Yeah.
You know what I tell people? I tell people that I run a wellness business, and then I promote things and messages online that I believe in. That's it.
That's good.
That's all I do. Because some people are like, well, I'm the CEO of XYZ Corporation. Last year we did 25 million in revenue. That's fine if that floats your boat, but like, what are you doing for the world?
Yeah. And guys, it's not all about money. Those with money will tell you it's not all about money. You have to have balance. And that's what I read about in the Happy Hustle, is having the 10 alignments of a happy hustler. And yes, having a purposeful career and financial literacy is important. You need to make sure you're not, spending more than you're saving or spending more than you're earning. Josh and I aren't saying money's not important. Yes, it is. But it's not more important than having a loving relationship with your significant other. It's not more important than going outside and grounding yourself to Mother Earth, or going to the beach, or going to the mountains. It's not more important than giving to others, service over self, giving time, giving money. Yes. Giving expertise. Expertise is the best thing you could give someone, right? You teach a man to fish, he feeds for life,
Yeah.
If you just give him a fish, he's just going to have one meal out the deal. And, I butchered that quote, but that's okay.
I think we all got the gist of it. No, we got the gist of it because, if you teach a man to fish, that means you're spending time not fishing yourself. So if you're in a place where maybe your livelihood or your food on the table, or if you're threatened in some way, the hardest thing to do is to be there for somebody else when you yourself are suffering. And that's where a lot of people actually are right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people right now are in the place where they didn't plan properly. They don't have
Mm-hmm.
extra resources, and they are doing their very best, because we all are. But right now is the most important time to actually schedule in caring for other people, being of service to other people,
Yeah.
even if you're struggling yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes the pain of struggle can be so overwhelming to the nervous system and to the default mode network that the only thing that can get you out of it is doing proper breath work and then going and doing something for somebody else.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all we get, and that's been a big tool for me. And it's written on my arm, dude. Se posso
Mm-hmm.
respirare, posso scegliere. In Italian, that means if I can breathe, I can choose.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can take a breath, if I can 6 of those, which Wim Hof has taught us, right?
I love a good 6 breath count. I mean, why don't we just do it?
Let's
6
just do it.
breaths
Let's go.
changes your state.
Let's go.
Follow along if you're watching, y'all, or listening. 6 breaths.
2 more and then audible exhale. Big one. 1 for good measure. Now go out and be of service to somebody else, because you just changed your state.
Yeah.
But when we're paralyzed and when we don't have enough breath, the default mode network, the amygdala is activated, our sympathetic
Fight or flight.
system is turned on. So as I'm sure you've talked about on your show, and with your work with biohacking secrets, we can either be a slave to our biology, or we can lovingly optimize it.
Mm-hmm.
And the choice is ours,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying it's easy, dude. I am not saying right now is easy at all. I'm experiencing my own unique challenges.
Yeah. Yeah.
Financially, business wise, what am I going to let go of? What am I going to bring in?
Mm-hmm.
What's really necessary?
Yeah.
So that
we all are having a pivot.
So that the dream continues to thrive.
Yeah.
And it's forcing me to look at what are any of the things that I'm doing that I'm not happy with, and how can I continue the hustle only as the North Star of happiness? Like, what can I put in the sky that's happy, and just follow that?
Yeah, this is a blank canvas for many people. This is the time where you can reinvent yourself. You can choose to wake up tomorrow morning and do something that excites you, that you want to do. You can write that book. You can create that podcast. You can create an online business nowadays, like easier than ever before. We are all interconnected. The biggest thing with busyness or business is solving problems. Solve someone's problems and make it a problem that you're passionate about, so it's sustainable and that you'll actually persevere through the inevitable adversity that will strike.
I just got this hit, like, you get like a rush of knowledge all of a sudden. When you were talking, I was visualizing what we were describing earlier, the continuum.
The circle.
Yeah, the circle. It's like, look at what movie is that from?
It's from like what, Adam Sandler or something.
Yeah. So we all go through these phases of intelligence, the 3 phases of intelligence, right? The gathering, the application, and the embodiment.
Mm-hmm.
Right now is our time to apply.
Yeah.
Like, we've gathered enough, guys and gals. We've gathered so much. Stop gathering. Start doing from a place of inspired action.
Yeah.
And I promise you, like most people, and maybe it's because you and I are in a bubble of content, most people, I believe, from my vantage point, have consumed so much that really what they're looking for is just some inspiration, and some guidance. And this is like Cary and I here with you, letting you know, like, it's time for you to iterate. It's time for you to apply. It's time for you to actually be in the process of trying and learning and falling down, getting back up, because this 3 phases of intelligence will continue. And I will say that, like, I know you guys focus on this with biohacking secrets. The breath work has been huge. It is the number one thing, because it just resets everything, and that can really help people.
Yeah. breath work, what it really does is allow you to tap into the present moment. And all we truly have is this eternal present moment. You have to be fully aware and conscious and stop living in the past and stop living in the future and be present right here, right now, guys, on this very day, listening to this message. You know, Josh and I are giving you not permission, but we are pushing you with permission to go out there and just step into your greatness and solve problems and find your happy hustle and go out there and just do it. You know, that's what it's all about. Is then once you've gathered, now it's time to apply and then embody and just live it. Live what you want to serve the world.
And be committed to the process too.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm being totally honest, there was moments where I was just doing my best, but then my best sometimes I can look back on and I can say, oh, I could have done that differently. I could have actually not worked hard in that moment. I could have been smarter in that moment. I could have sent out this kind of an email. I could have networked with that person. So just be kind. Let's do this too, man. Let's be kind to ourselves.
Yeah.
As we figure out what this means, you know, this hustle, this happiness, all this stuff.
Well, and you're going to fail forward. It's an inevitable part of life, and especially the entrepreneurial journey. Really Whatever you're going to start, you're going to run into some wall, and you'll have to find a way around it. And I mean, I'm still figuring out this whole podcasting thing. I'm still figuring out this entrepreneurial thing. I've started 4 companies. 3 of them failed epically. You know, I learned a lot, but I definitely will take full ownership. I have failed and I continue to fail. And that's how we learn. And it's only looking backwards that we can actually learn those lessons and then apply those lessons moving forward. Yeah.
Let's get it. A mic drop moment right there.
Boom, boom. Well, you know what the mic drop is for? Is for you to now give the listeners even more tangible happy hustle hacks, because we got on a nice riff there and I really do love it. But what I want to do is make you, you know, the rock star that you are on this show and let you spit some hot fire on the mic in terms of health, first and foremost, because you are Wellness Force Radio and you have tons of mental and physical health hacks and, you know, happy hustle hacks, I like to call them, that you can give the listeners, breath work being one of them. What are some other cornerstones to your routine that you implement to stay healthy and vibrant, both mentally and physically?
This is one that I think goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyways. The faster that you can get into the sun in the morning, the better you're going to feel. And then of course, the better you feel, then everything else becomes easier. So right away, the logical mind for some people is going to say, well, I live in a place where there's no direct sunlight, or, well, I live in a place where there's blah, blah, blah. You can buy the Juve. You can get
red light therapy.
Yeah. But I'm fortunate enough to be in a space where there's sunlight almost every day. Some days there's only clouds, but the sun is still coming in. What I'm saying is start your day by getting outside.
Yeah.
You know, like get outside. That's the first thing. And I put everything on my M21 guide. I figured out, like, gosh, all these leaders, they're doing the same stuff, but what are the actual 6 things that everyone is doing? And I put those into a guide that I'd love to give your audience, man. It's
that'd be amazing.
M21, so morning 21. So in less than 21 minutes, you can do these 6 things and breathing is one of them. You get a 7-day guided breathwork process. So a week of breathwork where you can just really attune to what's going on for you. In these 6 practices, you're going to understand, like, okay, what do I need to adjust in my life so that these practices can be fortified? And also, what are these practices teaching me about my life that can be changed? So it's actually just like the magic and the beauty of everything is just doing something.
Yeah.
Just doing something. Like, you're going to learn as you do. You know, my most powerful quote ever, dude, is by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Do the thing and you will have the power. It's not like you'll have the power so you do all the things. No. It's like so backwards. You know, you do look at podcasting.
Yeah.
My first 50 episodes, dude, I was in a place where I wanted it so bad, and I was like trying to force it and everything. And I look back on that version of me, you know, and I'm like, I just want to give him a hug and be like, it's going to be okay.
Just pat him on the ass, say, get back in there, chill.
Yeah. But also, like, sometimes we have to go through certain levels of energy output to learn that things aren't of service, you know? Yeah, and so that's the first one.
Where can people go one more time? It's wellnessforce.com/M21, correct?
M21. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, if you guys listening and watching this right now, you really should take Josh up on this. It's for free. There's no like catches or strings attached.
No, it's
We're
totally
talking
free.
legit great content to help you, especially boost your immune system. Given this virus, these 21 days could really revolutionize your internal defense system. So definitely recommend that.
Yep, 100%, dude. And I'm glad you mentioned immunity because there's a lot of scientific research about breath work and immunity, and also proper hydration, proper sleep. That's in there as well. But also, what I think boosts immunity is living a life on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about the ultimate life hack, the ultimate happy hustle hack. Find a purpose and live it.
Oh,
That's
that is true.
The ultimate hack, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everything, when you're on purpose, everything becomes easier. You just flow, you surrender to the universe, and it happens, it happens for you, not to you.
Yeah. And sometimes it feels like it's happening to us because the threats are so real.
Yeah.
And there's the duality that's always present, like, look, right now it's real hard for a lot of people. And there's also a lot of opportunity. They're both there. So let's just commit as a collective, and especially as content creators, to searching for and being able to be in that application phase of what's possible. Like being in the application phase right now of what the opportunity is, and focus all your energy there.
Yeah. I want to get into a happy hustle hack for spirituality, because I know you are very tapped into source energy, and let's go there. Just give the listeners some tangible happy hustle hacks for spirituality and how you tap into a higher power.
Well, the best way, I have a meditation cushion, and so I'll take my meditation cushion, put it on the floor, be outside in the sun. I'll sit in like a lotus position. Any way you sit's fine, but you want to stack your spine, because what it does is it lines up your meridians, which is essentially like your chakras. So you align your chakras that way. And when you do that, you're like an antenna. If you have an antenna on a car and the antenna is straight, it's going to receive signals. But if you go and bend that antenna, or it doesn't have a proper connection, it ain't going to receive signal that much. It might get a little bit in there. It's the same thing with higher intelligence. It's the same thing with higher power. So we got to stack our body to receive it. We got to be in a posture that allows it to come in. So that's the first thing. And then, doing the cyclical breathing. I love doing a process that I've created. It's about 7 minutes long. It's 2 rounds of mixed box and circular breathing with breath hold retentions. That's what I've created, and it works for me. So I really love that. And then I'm just quiet afterwards.
Yeah.
And I just go to that quiet space. Like even right now, like let's just pause for 2 seconds and just feel what's going on with your body. Are you breathing? Are you upright? Are you laying down? Like, just how many times a day do we actually just experience what's going on?
Yeah. Tap in.
That's how I do it, man. I get myself in a state first, and then I allow myself to just be in it. And what comes up? Sometimes I'll get emotional. Sometimes I'll be happy. Who knows? But whatever it is there.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, guys, don't complicate your meditation practice or your breath work. Just go do. Like, get still and do. Breathe. Acknowledge the sensations in your toes, your hands, your fingers, your ears, your nose, everything. I love that. Last question before we get into the rapid fire round and wrap this puppy up, because I know you got another interview coming in hot, and I want to respect that. What is a happy hustle hack for entrepreneurship that you use to, I know you have multiple companies, you're the top rated podcast host. How do you manage these different companies, and maybe give some tangible happy hustle hacks for some maybe entrepreneurs, people just starting out, that how they could start an entity or a business and manage it effectively like you have?
First, make a decision that you won't quit. That's the number one. No matter what happens, that you will not allow yourself to quit. Now, it doesn't mean that your end vision might change or iterate, or you might apply, but just be committed to one day, maybe soon, maybe later, whatever it is. One day you will be the captain of your own ship. So just make that decision first and foremost. That's the
Yeah.
biggest hack, is just decide that. And there's ways in which I help people decide that. But that's a complicated process, right? Because we all have our unique stories that block our beliefs from realizing we're the captain. And captain can be male or female. So that's number one. And then number two is take a continual inventory of what is serving you in your growth and what is not. It's funny, like business and personal, they're so like this.
Yeah.
They're like Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
So every week, take somewhat of an inventory and be like, okay, here's a piece of paper. There's 10 things that I love about my life and business. And on the other side, there's 10 things that are causing me stress or pain about my business and life. Circle one on each side.
Yep.
Then have some type of an accountability partner, or business coach or whatever it is, and commit to changing one of those things that's causing you pain, and then use your fuel for the gratitude to help you change it. And then here's the real part: have the courage to change it and reach out to an accountability person and let them know, hey, this isn't working in my business. I really want to change it. Can you help me change it? Sometimes just talking about it gives people the permission to change it. So that's the two hacks that I use all the time. And I'm reminded by the universe if I'm not doing it.
Yeah, those are great. You have to be committed to whatever you're out there happy hustling for, and you need accountability. You need a support team. Those are great.
Yes.
Let's get into the rapid fire round real quick. Are you ready? First thing that comes to mind.
Okay, let's do it.
Favorite movie? Go.
Rudy. The football
nice.
movie?
Favorite food? I love that.
Or Matrix. Favorite food? Oh, dude, like a really good smoothie. That's what I'm thinking about right now. I like cooling foods. I don't know, like a really high quality smoothie is good.
Favorite book?
The Way of the Superior Man, David Data.
Oh, good one. What's your spirit animal?
Bear.
Best business advice?
Stay committed to the process. Enjoy the building process.
One superpower, what would it be?
My ability to feel someone's emotions and guide them towards a place of love, like having an accelerated empathic channel that I would be able to really read how someone's feeling. Because if I can do that, I can help people get out of their own way, and I can learn things about myself.
Yeah. One word you wish to be synonymous with your name for the rest of your life?
Curious.
Oh, 3 things you're most grateful for.
I'm most grateful for this life. Number one, the fact that I'm even here, and this body that I'm in. I'm really grateful for this body, and I'm constantly reminded of that. And I'm grateful for my partner, my love, Cary, Michelle, and I'll throw in my family and friends in that same category.
Yeah.
There's so many things to be grateful for,
Mm-hmm.
but those are the 3 that come up.
Yeah, man. Those were awesome. You crushed that rapid fire round. Where can people go to find out more about you, to listen to the podcast? Give us some links. Obviously, we know wellnessforce.com, M21. You guys should already pick up that, no question. But what about the other aspects, and where can we follow you online?
Yeah, just go to wellnessforce.com or go to the Wellness Force podcast. Those are the best places. But then look, if you want to connect on social, I'm there too. It's Wellness Force, or my Instagram is Trent_SD.
SD?
Yeah. So just follow your intuition. We covered a lot of ground.
We did in a short time.
So yeah, just listen to it again, and then, go with what pulls you. Go with that little whisper. I think you had mentioned that, go with that little whisper.
We might have to run it back, because I didn't even get into relationships and want to get into it sometime.
Man, we got to go round 2.
Last question, Josh. What does happy hustling mean to you?
Happy hustling is the acknowledgement that as I strive for happiness, that I'm also at peace with the fact that it won't always be there. And if I want to hustle, I know that hustle is like tides in the ocean. Sometimes we hustle hard, sometimes we don't. It's respecting and honoring the laws of nature that we can plug into the happy hustling process too.
Beautifully said. Thank you, Josh Trent, so much for being the unapologetic love and light you are. I appreciate you hanging out with us, man.
Appreciate you too, Cary. Thanks, man.
Thank you all for watching. Peace.